Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 6 of the 15-day meditation challenge. You're doing well to have got this far. Remember what we're trying to do. We're trying to train the mind and create some sort of habit by performing this at one stretch every evening from 9 till 9:30. The idea being that after this, you can slowly prepare yourself for bed and have a calm and peaceful sleep. Not easy at these times, but that's why we need this sort of calmness. Every day, I choose a particular idea or topic, and then we contemplate upon it as an object of meditation for a few minutes. Remember some of the things that I've said. The Shravana is the mechanism by which you listen so intently, having cast your ego to one side temporarily. You listen so intently that you could paraphrase back what has been said. That's the only thing that's expected of you. This first stage of learning is not where you evaluate, not where you ask the questions. That happens at the second stage, when you've understood what has been said, and now you can analyze and ask questions to eliminate doubt. Then once that phase is over, the third stage is making that knowledge your wisdom. So these are the 3 stages. So I hope you've remembered that and you follow it as I speak. Yesterday, we talked about the fact that we all have desires, and the desires are driven primarily because all of us want happiness, permanent, uninterrupted happiness. And we perform actions driven by our desires, and the desires themselves are driven by likes and dislikes. Do you recall? And these actions acquire things for us. They can be objects, they can be relationships, they can be situations. And from these things that we acquire, we try to derive happiness, to maintain the happiness that we seek. And I said yesterday that all of these objects are limited, but they have 3 fundamental flaws. Firstly, they're associated with pain. Secondly, they're limited. And the third one is that what you consider to be the master of, eventually you become a slave to. So this raises the question, are desires bad? Are desires wrong? And the answer is no. But we have to figure out what type of desires we should be having. What sort of actions will they lead to? And the reason that we need to know that is because we are different from every other type of animal. How are we different? We all want to sustain ourselves, have a pleasant experience. Animals do that too. And they need to eat, they need to have shelter, they need to reproduce. We have all of that. How are we different to animals? And the way that we're different is that we have the power of will. We have the ability to choose what to do. And it's this choice that is our undoing. See, no animal wants an iPhone. However well it may have been brought up, in whatever environment, they are largely pre-programmed to want only the things that they require. Even plants, a lime tree or a orange tree, planted side by side, will extract whatever they need from the soil in order to bear their type of fruit. They won't take anything in excess. That's not like us. We love to take excess, and frequently do, at the detriment of others. So this power of will means that we need to have a controlled desire cycle. And therefore, if you like, we need to figure out how we should operate this mind and body that we're given. How should we act in the world? And if you consider ourselves to be a product, and if you were to get yourself a product, what you refer to normally is the manual. You open up the manual, and if you're like me, you put it to one side and never open it again unless you can't get the product to work. So is there a manual for human beings? And I have to tell you, there is. And they're called the Vedas, an ancient body of text, a source of knowledge that was transcribed into Sanskrit about 3,500 years ago, but existed for thousands of years prior to that through an oral tradition of being passed, what's known as the parampara tradition, passed from teacher to student, who then taught it on to others for thousands of years. And the Vedas are a manual for living, and they are actually the source material for a number of religions, some of the Eastern, some of the oldest religions in the world, such as Hinduism, Buddhism, Zionism. There's lots of religions out there that are based on these works of the Vedas. So, what do the Vedas say? I mean, if it's a reference manual, you'll at least open it up and have a look. And the Vedas says that there are 4 values, 4 what are called purusharthas, goals in life. I can hear you speaking now. 4, my bucket list is a lot longer than that. But they say no, there's 4 goals in life. These are interesting. The first one we'll skip for now. I'll come back to it. It's called dharma. But to understand it, we need to understand dharma a bit better. The second one is artha, A-R-T-H-A. And it stands for security. Many consider it to be wealth, but it can be security in relationships. Any type of security, anything that makes you feel safe, it's artha. And it's a recognized goal in life. You're supposed to go after it. Why? In order to look after yourself and those that depend upon you. The third one is karma, K-A-M-A. That's karma without the R. And karma means desire. You're supposed to have desires. These are the goals in life. You're supposed to have desires. And this karma stands for enjoyment. All the things that you could desire in order to enjoy. And the fourth one is moksha, liberation. Liberation from what? Liberation from the ups and downs of life. The coming and going, what's called samsara, trials and tribulations of life. So these are the 4 goals. What was the first one? It was dharma. What does dharma mean? Dharma has many, many translations and many, many ways of saying it incorrectly. In the West, we tend to call it dharma, but it's dharma. You have to flatten the tongue at the top of your mouth when you say it. Dharma means ethics in one way, and therefore is not a goal, but it's an adjective of artha and kama. It means that whatever you seek for security should be sought in an ethical manner. Whatever you seek for entertainment, for desire, for things to be good, must be done in an ethical manner. Now, I'm not here to give you a lecture on ethics or morality, just a definition. What is ethics, and therefore, what is dharma? How am I going to use dharma to choose what action I should perform? And there's a very simple test. Dharma is the path of least harm. I'll repeat that. Dharma is the path of least harm. When you have a choice to make, what to do, if you choose the path of least harm, then you're being dharmic. You're following a dharmic path. It may not mean the path of no harm. You're just lessening your impact on others and the world. That is dharma. And that is one of the goals in life. Because if we don't follow dharma, then we break the moral laws. And you say, so? If you break any other type of laws, there's normally some sort of punishment. If you run a light or go around and hit somebody, there's some sort of punishment as a consequence of that action. What are the consequences of breaking a moral law, an ethical law? And the answer came to us through a Swami that we were hearing the other day. And he said, it's not that you break the moral law, but breaking it breaks you. When you break a moral law, it is you that gets broken. How do you get broken? By feeling guilty and producing hurt for others. So we have to behave in an ethical manner. This is defined in the Vedas, which are a manual for life. When you choose your actions so that they primarily benefit others rather than yourself, then you are going from a path of karma to karma yoga. You're going from a path of materialism to a path of spiritualism. If you want to know the definition of what you seek, if you seek a spiritual path, what you're seeking is karma yoga, to choose ethical actions primarily for the benefit of others. And why do so? Because when you do what you want to do, you are in bondage. When you do what needs to be done, you're in freedom. It's opposite to what we're told in the West. Freedom, normally people say, is to do whatever I want to do. That's not freedom. You're just following your mind, your thought patterns. You're following it like a slave. That's not freedom, because you have no other option. Freedom is doing what needs to be done, because then there's a choice. You've had to go down a moral choice. I can do two things. There's things that I need to do and things that I want to do. And it's what you need to do that is a spiritual path. Needs to be done rather than what you want to do. And what happens is that the gap between what you want to do and what needs to be done gets shortened and shortened until they are one and the same. A lot of words. So let's try and apply some of that in our meditation tonight. You do realize that if you hear my words intently, focused, and not thinking of anything else, then you're already in meditation, but with your eyes open. Now we shall go into meditation with your eyes closed. Assume your posture with a straight back and focus on your breath. The breathing is gentle. It is relaxed. And just spend a minute working down your body to relax yourself even more. From the top of your head down through the face and the body. Maintain your awareness of the breath. Go down the body more. Let go of those muscles on every exhalation and relax completely as you're aware of going further down, right down to your feet. Just as in the past, we've looked at focusing on a thought or on a sound and tried to follow that sound to nothingness and wait for the next sound to appear or the next thought to appear and concentrated on the gap. So we can do that technique with the breath. Every breath has an inhalation and an exhalation. That means there is a point at which the inhalation stops and the exhalation begins. And there's a point where the outward breath turns back into the inward breath. Just follow your breathing now as you monitor the turning point. Remember, don't force your breath. Just follow the breath and find the point at which it turns. Inhalation to exhalation. Exhalation to inhalation. The breathing is normal. It's not forced, but notice that point. And without affecting the breath, when you notice that point, imagine as if that point of turning expands a little. That point in turning is the gap. You are aware of the inhalation. You are aware of the exhalation. You are aware of the turning point. You are aware of the gap. The breath changes, but your awareness does not. Sounds change, but your awareness does not. Thoughts change, but your awareness does not. You are the constant witness of all that unfolds. Everything changes, but you do not. The thoughts are in your mind. And the body performs the physical actions. And you are the awareness of both. What actions should it perform? It should perform ethical actions, dharmic actions, following a path of least harm. It is not your role to judge what others do. You have no control over what others do. You only have control over what you do. Break a moral code, and the code breaks you. It does not break. You get broken. And when you get broken, happiness gets broken. When your actions are dharmic, it matters little whether what you sought to derive comes or not. Just the process of trying brings out happiness. Happiness is not based on success. It's based on the effort that you take to progress. You're not being measured by others. We all measure ourselves. You are fundamentally happiness. And this comes out in abundance when you change your actions from karma to karma yoga. From actions that primarily benefit yourself to actions that primarily benefit others. The rewards are enormous. They don't have to be monetary. The rewards are happiness. That is universally what we all seek. Just reflect for a moment on actions and their consequences. What do you want to achieve in life? Happiness. How are you going to get there? Karma yoga. Settle back for a moment and just relive an action that you did that was for the benefit of others, and revel in the joy that that brought then and is bringing to you still. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Now drift off. Have a good sleep. That technique of the turnaround of the breath, the turning point of the breath, is better than counting sheep at trying to get back to sleep. So you now have that technique with you. Should you wake up in the middle of the night, it's a good way to fall back asleep again, because it eliminates the thoughts that are going around in your head that stops you from falling back to sleep. Very lovely to see you. I'll be here tomorrow night, and hopefully you can join me then. Thank you very much indeed. Good night, everyone. Good night.